What's happening, people? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the Gunner's Corner with your boy CJ for another pre-match preview. And in this case, it is the second leg of the Champions League, round of 16, at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal versus Bayer Leverkusen, with a current aggregate score of 1-1. And we're back again, people. We're back again, back already, with the games coming thick and fast. It feels like I'm still sort of riding the wave of um, the victory over Everton on the weekend. Still, kind of basking in the glory of what was a magnificent W for the Arsenal, with Max Dowman being, the headline act, the main act, as they say. And yeah, man, but shoot, we move on. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time to bask in that victory. We got to put the Premier League to one side for now. Um, because it's a return to the Champions League. This week we got two cups to contend with. One is a cup final, which is next Sunday, um, against Man City in the EFL Cup. But tomorrow is the Champions League, and look, another priority competition, competition that we're looking to progress in, trying to get to the round of 16. Sorry, trying to get to the quarterfinal. But we have Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen, sorry, in our way. So listen, we negotiate that. We get past that tie. We win tomorrow at the Emirates, and we go on to a quarterfinal to face either Sporting Lisbon or Bodo Glimt. So it looks good. It looks good for us at the moment. Um, I'm excited, man. It's an exciting time in the season, and this is what we dreamed of for years now as Arsenal fans, right? Just being in these positions, fighting on all fronts, fighting in all competitions, having a good enough squad to contend and to compete, not just to make up the numbers, right? But to actually go out and have a chance of winning. And that's what we do have at this moment in time. So, Arsenal fans, you should be proud. You should be happy about where we're at. Um, and let's soak it all in. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy the race, to the finish line. Because yeah, who knows the next time we're going to be in this position. Things are happening in swings and roundabouts at the moment. And our fellow co-host on the podcast, Laurent, who is a Chelsea fan, as you guys all know, he's down in the dumps. He's in the mud right now, and we got to lift his spirits. Me and Murdad, as the Arsenal fans on the podcast, we got to lift up Laurent at the moment because poor guy, is in the mud. His club. We heard today, for those of you who didn't know, that Chelsea had been hit with a fine and a transfer ban. Um, for the things that were going on during Roman Abramovich's time at the club. So. Yeah, that has funny enough that's come out today. Um, is the fact that Chelsea will be hit with the transfer ban and a fine. Um, that was released by The Athletic. And it's all over every media outlet at the moment, that Chelsea is still paying the consequences for some of the things that were going on in Roman Abramovich's time. So those trophies that they won, you know, um, could have an asterisk beside them, right? Those Champions Leagues, those league titles, however they were achieved, seem to have been done illegally or out of, allegedly out of the code of conduct, right? Or outside of the means of what is tolerable. So, anyways, that's for them to deal with. We're here, we're present in the moment, and we just gotta have to go about our business and win our trophies the right way, right? Um, so yeah, again, I'm excited, man. I'm very much looking forward to it. Plenty of content out around Arsenal at the moment. Everyone is just buzzing, right? Everyone connected with the club. We're all in a good moment, and yeah, just a real good feel-good factor around the football club at the moment. So I hope that helps to spur us on and get us over the line. Very important that, at the end of the season, we have tangible success finally, right? For our efforts, not just this season, but for the last few seasons. Um, as well, we have, Mikel Arteta's press conference has been released. He did his press conference earlier today in the UK. Um, and I mean, a couple of notable things. Obviously, is the team news, right? That's what we want to hear first and foremost. That's what we're most interested in finding out about. And what was interesting about that is that he did confirm, Mikel Arteta, that Leandro Trossard is fit and available for selection, which is good news because we need as much of our squad available. And I do believe, with our current left wing options at the moment, I mean, we played with both Saka and Madueke last game. Madueke played on the left against Everton. Outside of, that sort of option, there is the Martinelli, who I have been, campaigning for a while and saying that, he isn't good enough to start, games in a run-in, and for a team contending on all fronts, contending for titles and Champions Leagues, Martinelli just for me simply isn't of the level. That's just no agenda, no personal thing. It's just an honest assessment of where we're at. So again, I do believe, Trossard, I mean, whilst he's not world class and he's not the full-time solution, he is better, in my opinion, as a starting left winger and more reliable from the start than a Martinelli. So having Trossard there, I think upgrades that position. It allows us to keep Martinelli on the bench, um, and have Trossard as a potential starting option. Um, so that's positive news that he is back. Again, ahead of a cup final week as well. Um, the disappointing news and news that we kind of pretty much were expecting, let's be honest, is the fact that Martin Odegaard and Yuri Timber are not available for this game. Longer term, Arteta was pressed on those two, and he in which he did say Martin Odegaard is pushing to be available for the cup final. So I guess that's sort of the target for him to be available for. Again, with Martin Odegaard, liability. I think that's the word used around him this season. Um, and again, just honest assessments, right? We have to have uncomfortable conversations, and he hasn't been reliable this season. He's been injured a lot. This is as of the back end, not the back end, I think the beginning of last season. I think I mentioned this previously as well, that ever since the beginning of last season where he picked up that ankle injury on international duty for Norway, his ever since that time he's just been disrupted with injury time and again. Um, and this is over the course of 2 seasons. And this season, it's been a number of different injuries. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. Is he not, physical or robust enough for the Premier League anymore? Has he changed his diet? Has he lost weight? Is he more lightweight now? But yeah, just picking up injuries. We saw him pick up that injury that's, keeping him out currently, the injury at Brentford. Um, he picked up that knee injury. Again, is the guy just not fit and built for the Premier League anymore? Brilliant technical footballer when he's on the ball, good touch, silky smooth. Um, for a nice sunny day at the Emirates. But when the going gets tough and it's time to dig in and you need that dog in you, that dog fight in you, does he have that? You know, this is why we call for the likes of the old school captains like Gabriel and Declan Rice, guys who are tough, will get stuck in, they'll embrace the physical battles. So I don't know, man. I don't know with Odegaard at the moment. And at the end of the season, I think we're gonna have to see where we're at with him. But listen, for the here and now, he's still here. He is still a member of the squad. He is still the captain, so we do need him available. That's just the honest truth. Again, we need as much of the squad available. So the sooner we can get him back, the better. If he is going to be available for the cup final, that's great. It gives us a boost. But yeah, worrying with regards to him. The other one was Yuri Timber, and Arteta did say that he's a matter of days. Again, Arteta does like to keep cards close to his chest when it comes to player injury and availability. So, for him, what does that mean? Matter of days. Does that mean he'll be back for the cup final? Does that mean he'll be back, after the international break at this point? We don't know. We don't really know what that means. And I'm sure he'll be asked again on it later in the week, to which he may not even give a straightforward answer, to be honest with you. But yeah, he did say Timber's a matter of days. So as far as his longer term future, Timber, I mean, it's positive that it's days, as opposed to, weeks or months. I mean, again, assuming Arteta's telling the truth. Um, but yeah, hopefully that is the case, and hopefully he's fit and available for the cup final. But it looks like he won't be fit for tomorrow, which is fine because this is what we have our squad for, right? And we have been sort of asking for Timber to have a little bit of a rest, anyways, right? Let's be honest. So we should be able to negotiate this game without Timber. And yeah, listen, I'm gonna get into my predicted 11 now. Let's see what we're working with and what I think Arteta's going to go with, just based on that information that we have in the press conference. Because he did say everyone else is fine. There's no other further updates at this time. Everyone else should be good to go. So let's try and get a predicted 11 out, based on what we think that he's going to go with. In goal, simple, David Raya. Um, no questions asked. I think we just keep it moving, don't we? He's the number one. This is a knockout tie. Too much jeopardy on the line. Win or go home. You start your first choice keeper. None of this Liam Rosenior stuff or, Tudor stuff from Spurs, right? Rotating your keepers in the Champions League when they're must-win games. We're not doing that over here. Your first choice plays David Raya in goal. Now, at right back, I'm gonna say we're gonna go with, and I hope we go with the likes of Ben White. I haven't seen him in a while. We have to remember that this guy's been an important member of our squad in recent times. Another player who I believe has been overplayed, which is why we've seen, a lot of the injuries that he's been picked up lately, muscular injuries and that, in his first couple campaigns, 22-23 season and 23-24 season, when it seemed like he was the only competent right back, we played him almost every game for those couple campaigns at right back, which is a demanding position in the Premier League, a lot of wear and tear on your body. And if you're playing close to 38 games as a fullback in this league, the Premier League, that's very, very, again, very difficult, very demanding. So yeah, I feel like Ben White has been unfortunate, to be honest with you, to now be sort of the forgotten man almost, right? It feels like. Um, yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. And I mean, again, Timber has stepped up and he's proven that he's one of the best right backs in Europe. But again, that's at the expense of Ben White and Ben White's playing time and involvement with the team. And again, he has picked up his little injuries himself this season too, which hasn't helped his cause, right? Because if he's fit and available, then you give Arteta more of a selection headache. But again, let's not forget who Ben White is and what he's done, and how crucial he is. Um, it has been, right? So he's a big member of the squad. We have to make him feel involved. And listen, Arteta said in the press conference as well that Ben White is fit. So if he's fit, right, a fully fit Ben White, we know what he's capable of. If he's fully fit, you play him. Mascara came in and did his thing. But in a game where I think we're going to need more of an attacking impetus because, we're at home, we have to go and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. More. We need to show more on the offensive end, right? And with all due respect, Ben White will give us more on that right-hand side offensively than what a Mascara will. So we've missed Ben White's overlapping as well. I'm excited to have him back in the team. I hope he starts. I really do. I'm going to give him the nod. I'm going to put that energy out there, and hopefully it manifests that Ben White gets the start. 50 million pound defender. Why not start him? So Ben White at right back. Um, Center backs again, Gabriel and Saliba. You keep that going, similar to the David Raya thing. There's no room for error really in terms of messing with the squad. It's win or go home. All the jeopardy is on this game. So yeah, you got to play Saliba and Big Gabby at the back. Um, Left back. Now, I think, to be honest with you, I think Hincapié is going to come back in for this one. I mean, then we'll have a decision to make for the final. Um, about who starts the cup final between Hincapié and Calafiori. I don't think Miles Lewis Skelly's in the reckoning at the moment to start either one of those games, unfortunately. But listen, for the here and now, yeah, for tomorrow's game, I think Hincapié will come back in. Calafiori did have a good display, um, but I think Hincapié was rested. Um, Yeah, I think Nkapie was rested, to be honest with you, because he has been playing a lot of minutes, Nkapie, over the last few weeks, months, and been putting in great performances. And so there was a bit of rotation, I think, in mind on at Everton on the weekend. And again, it's not like we're forcefully rotating him because he's maybe in the red zone. I don't know. I don't know if he is in the red zone. Probably not. But when you have another competent left back in Calafiori available, you can afford to use a little bit of rotation in those areas. So yeah, but I do think Hincapié will come back in for this one specifically. Also because maybe Calafiori and his fitness concerns can't play two back-to-back games in the space of 3 days. So then after this game, you have a decision to make for the cup final. Who starts, Calafiori or Hincapié? Um, but yeah, for this one specifically, I think Hincapié will come back in. Warrior defender, love the guy. I think he's quickly become a crowd favorite. Again, can't wait to make that signing permanent. So that's your back four. Now in midfield, again, I think the tried and trusted Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi, I think they will start the game together. Um, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to go with in there, just simply because I don't think the trust and the quality and depth behind them is great at the moment. Norgard is quite different profile wise to both of them, and is a drop off, or a drop off. Maybe it's not big, but it is a drop off. Let's just call a spade a spade. Um, Norgard is a drop off. Again, Marino's not available at the moment. Profile wise, we don't have anyone really else that we trust in the moment in there to go in there. Miles Lewis Skelly is a natural midfielder, but we haven't seen him yet under Arteta in there, unfortunately. Um, so he's not going to try that now. So we are going to stick with Martin Zubimendi and Declan Rice, and that's what I think we're going to go with. And again, because of the size of the game, I have no problem with that. Um, the attacking midfield positions, that Odegaard number eight, attacking 8/10 position. Thought about this one for a while. I personally think we're going to stick with Eberechi Eze in there. I do. Um, we've been crying for him to have a run of games for a while. We've been saying, hey, don't give him a game or two and take him out of the team. He feels like a guy that you got to give him that run, kind of again in basketball terms, you know, feed him the rock. He's got the hot hand. You give him the ball, keep giving him the ball to make things happen. And again, basketball references for my basketball fans, my NBA fans, give him the rock while the rock is hot, while he's got the hot hand. And in this case, yeah, as a, yes, he doesn't necessarily have a hot hand in terms of, stellar performances since the North London Derby. Um, but you don't want to ruin his confidence and just drop him immediately after a mediocre performance, for example, right? He had a good performance in the Derby, but then a couple slow ones after that. But don't just take him out of the team. Well, I think he's in a good moment. I think he's happy, and I think he is confident and wants this run in the team. And so yeah, you keep him, especially with question marks around Odegaard. I think you keep him involved and keep him in the team. Um, Yeah, I think you keep him in the team as a and he had a good game. Not talked about much, to be honest with you. But he had a good game against Everton as a, he got on the ball, had a couple good efforts from long range shooting, on his left foot, on his right foot, at a time in the game where, we're calling for somebody to just have a pop from outside the 18 or just take a long range shot, right? Too many times we're trying to play a certain specific way of getting the ball into the box, whether it's down the channel and low and hard into the box, set pieces, um, walking the ball into the net, famously as we did under Arsene Wenger. Sometimes it's just nice to have those players who are just gonna have a pop, and that's what Eze can bring, and that's what he can do. And he did that a couple times in the Everton game. And then he also had a couple smart passes in behind and passes to try and break the lines of the defense. So no, I thought Eze had a good game, and I think he deserves to continue to start in this game, so long as he's fully fit, um, which he should be. Because there's a long period of time where he had a stretch on the bench, so he should be raring to go. And yeah, man, give us something in this game. Another home game, crowd behind you. Our creative spark, go in there and make something happen. So I'm backing Everich Eze to start in this one. Um, Now our wide areas, geez, I don't think he's gonna drop Saka. Again, size of the game. Um, I think he's gonna persist with him. I thought the anytime would have, to drop Saka would have been the Everton game based off of his performance, Saka, in the first leg against Leverkusen. But I think now I don't think he's going to drop him. Again, size of the game. He's probably going to be captain on the day. Um, New contract, big wages, big time player. I think business end of the season. I think Saka's going to play. Um, yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. Um, and I think again he's going to reward Noni Madueke with a start as well. Um, Because again, I think, off the back of Saturday's performance against Everton, I think Madueke was harshly dealt with in a couple areas. The first one being that, he just to keep him in the team and keep Saka in the team, you have to shoehorn Madueke in on the left, which I don't think is his best position. I think Madueke is better on the right, but Arteta wanted to reward him with a start whilst also keeping Saka in the team. So his way of doing it, I guess, was to put Madueke on the left. Don't think it particularly worked great. But yeah, I think that was that's how he's going to keep him in the team if he wants to start Saka as well. The second kind of part where Madueke I felt like was hard done by was he was the one that came off, right? in the Everton game when the game was 0-0. He was the one that came off for Martinelli, I think in the 60th minute, if I'm not mistaken, when, you could have taken off others. You could have taken off Saka even. Um, but Madueke was the one taken off. And again, I guess that was based on his performance or lack thereof. But again, he's playing on the left, which I think is not his best position. His best position is quite clearly the right-hand side, Madueke. But I think he will start again in this game, Madueke. And I think, him and Saka will be on the wings. I would love to see a swap. I would love to see Saka, start on the left and Madueke on the right. And then even interchange throughout the game, right? But I don't know if we're going to see that happen too much. But again, one thing I think I'm almost confident fully of is that Saka will start. So it's just a matter of what we do on the left. And I think he will, um, you know, allow Madueke to stay in the team. And on, rightfully so. I think Madueke at least does deserve to stay based on recent performances. Also because, like I said, on the left, I'm not trusting Martinelli too much at the moment. Um, he did start, in the first leg, Martinelli. Didn't do much in Germany there. So, um, yeah, no, it's Madueke. And also because of Trossard's fitness, right? Trossard, in normal circumstances, maybe he'd be in contention to start, but Trossard isn't fully fit just yet. I don't think, right? This is going to be his first game back in a bit since the Mansfield game in the cup. So, um, yeah, it's likely Madueke on that left-hand side. But let's see. Let's see. Up top, I think Victor Gyökeres comes back in, sort of similar to the, I guess, Hincapié and Calafiori thing, right? Where beyond this game, in the cup final, we'll see what decision is made on who starts up top in that one, whether it's Havertz or Gyökeres. But specifically for this game, again, we have another area there where we can rotate. Um, Kai Havertz played on the weekend from the start. Maybe we're managing his minutes and his fitness, Kai Havertz as well. Because let's be honest, we do want Kai available for the run-in and for the final. So similar to Calafiori, right? In order to keep him fit and available for the cup final or for the run-in, you want to manage his minutes accordingly. Um, Everton was Kai Havertz's first start for a while in the Premier League. Um, and he played about what was it, 60 minutes, I guess, 60 odd minutes in that one. So yeah, you manage him accordingly, manage his minutes. Um, and yeah, you probably have him on the bench in this one again, and you start Gyökeres. Gyökeres off the back of a goal was essentially sort of the winning goal on the weekend against Everton. Another one where Gyökeres might have his confidence up again, his tail up, ready and raring to go for the Champions League to help see us through. So probably Gyökeres starts in this one. And yeah, let's see how we go. But yeah, that's it. That's my predicted 11. Raya in goal, Ben White right back, Saliba, Gabriel center backs, Hincapié left back. Um, in midfield, Zubimendi, Rice, Eze, and the front three, Saka on the right, Madueke on the left, and Victor Gyökeres up top. That is my predicted 11. That is based on what I think Arteta will go with as well. Um, and so yeah, it should be good enough to get the job done ultimately. We are at home, Emirates Stadium, 60,000 plus behind us. Let's go, man. I'm for this one. I'm excited. I'm ready for another competition. I'm ready for, these games as they come thick and fast. I'm ready for us to just keep putting, the wins on the board, progression to the next rounds of these competitions and just be there until the very, very end. So, keep pushing. Come on, the boys. Come on, you Gunners. Let's get there. Let's get into the quarterfinals of the Champions League once again. What a time to be an Arsenal fan. We're buzzing. Let's will the boys on, and yeah, let's see it through and let's see it home on our home turf. Um, Stay tuned and stay locked in, ladies and gentlemen, because there is more coming your way in terms of our content. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really, really does help us, especially the subscriptions. Tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a family member, subscribe to the channel. Soak in all our content, the banter, the information, the entertainment bits, all of it. We're here for it. And we just keep rolling on. Okay. Hype the video as well, because apparently that's a new thing on YouTube that really does help these days. So yeah, all that typical YouTubey stuff. Make sure you're here for it. And you show us that love and that support. All right. So this has been CJ from the Gunners Corner with another pre-match preview. I'm predicting us to win tomorrow and go through. Um, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And we'll be back after this after the game with the post-game player ratings. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's lock in. See you guys tomorrow. We'll chat. We'll have a little online chat after the game in the match reaction and the player ratings. Until then, this has been CJ from the Gunners Corner. Take care, y'all. Bye bye.